Welcome back to day 2 of our Greta Dungarees sewing tutorial. Yesterday you cut out all your pieces, so we should be ready to go. Today we are going to be focusing on the pockets and making the straps to make the construction of the dungarees flow in days 3 and 4. To begin, grab pieces E and C and press the longest edge of the pocket facing, piece E, 1.5 centimeters using the iron. You can add a little bit of steam if you want to. Denim is really good at taking a high heat. Now you want to pin the piece you just pressed to C. You'll see perfectly where it fits, and you can mark up the drill holes that we made earlier using the bradawl. Once it's pinned, you want to top stitch 2 millimeters from the fold along there, and then you can go 5 millimeters from the edge the rest of the way round. Make sure you do a pair, and then we're ready to move on. Now we want to finish the edge of the top of this piece. We can do that using an overlocker, or if you don't have an overlocker, don't worry, you can use a zigzag stitch on your normal machine. While we're on a roll with finishing edges, we want to finish all the other edges of the pieces that we are going to use later on. So we need to finish the top of the edge of piece A. We need to go all the way around the bib and the back facing, and the top of the piece of pocket that we haven't sewn yet. I like to do this as a batch, so you sew one, and then instead of cutting your thread, you just get the next piece, keep sewing, and keep going. And then just cut the threads between each of your pieces. Remember, with the bib and the back facing, you need to go all the way around, so do all 4 sides. Prepare the straps F and G by folding them 1 centimeter all the way along the long side. Once you've pressed all the way along both of the long sides, again using a little bit of steam if you like, you can fold the whole strap in half all the way down the middle, and then that creates your beautiful strap. So now that we have pressed all 4 straps and they're ready to go, we are going to keep them folded over and then top stitch all the way along where the fold is. You can do this nice and close to the edge, I would say around 2 millimeters. You can pin if you want to. I'm just going to go straight for it. Again, no need to cut the thread between each strap, simply get the next one ready, pop it under the foot, and do a little back stitch, and off you go. Great, that's the long edge of all of your straps sewn. Now all we need to do is take the 2 waist straps, which are the slightly thinner ones, and on one of the ends I'm just going to cut a nice little diagonal like that and top stitch. So that'll be the end that's showing on the waist strap, and it just means by top stitching it, it will fray a little bit, but then it won't be able to fray any further. and it'll give a nice little finish. You could fold it over if you want to, but I think that can get a little bit bulky. I prefer to just cut it diagonally and then stitch across like that. One little thought I'll share with you while I was sewing that is that I could hear that my machine is ever so slightly struggling to get through the denim, and that's probably because I haven't put my denim needle in. So if you're working with really heavyweight fabrics, you might want to put a specialist heavyweight needle in. I'm going to swap my needle over and you'll see it might sound a little bit nicer. Pin the right side of the front pocket bag to the front pocket bag opening on our big piece A. With this, you want to be really sure to match up your drill points. So you'll see where your bradawl made the little hole. You can send a pin in through there and then make sure it goes down into the same place where your bradawl made a hole on piece A, the main trouser. Now we're going to sew from the drill point straight up to the top of the pocket. Make sure you do a few extra back stitches to secure the thread on the drill point. Once you've sewn it, you're then going to take your scissors and very carefully you're going to cut down from the bottom of the V to that drill point. You don't want to cut your stitching, so you want to stop just a millimetre before you get to your stitching. So you can see there I haven't cut the pocket bag, all I've done is cut the main trouser. Now we're going to go over to the iron and we're going to press that piece that we just sewn. So we want to flip it back first of all. And then we're going to pull the whole pocket bag through to the wrong side of the garment. Give it a really nice press. And now we just want to top stitch it down so that you don't get that annoying thing where your pocket bag keeps flapping out. Perfect, that's the first part of your pocket bag done. Now we're going to attach the back pocket bag in place. We need to sandwich our waist strap in between our pocket. So we're going to find your little notches on big piece A and then pin your strap in place, lining up with those notches. Jump on your machine and do a couple of stitches just to hold that in place. Beautiful. And once that's sewn, we just need to press the top of this piece, which is our back pocket, 1.5 centimeters again, all the way along the top, so that that's nice and folded over. Then we bring it over to our main trouser, piece A, and once again we match up our drill holes that we made with a bradawl. So take a pin, poke it through your drill hole, and then find the drill hole on the main trouser and poke it through and pin it in place. Pop a couple of extra pins in all the way up. And then we're just going to sew all the way down that piece with a 1.5 centimeter seam allowance. Now that the back pocket bag has been sewn in place, we're going to take it over to the iron. Pull the whole pocket bag through so that it matches up with the front pocket bag which we sewed earlier. And then we're going to give it a really nice little press. Take your time with this bit and just make sure everything is sitting lovely and flat, just the way you want it. Don't be afraid to really get some steam going around the area of the drill point. And you want to press from both sides, so do it from the back first, flip it over, and then have a look at the front and see how it's looking. Now that the two pocket bags are sewn in place, we're going to pin them together by lining up the raw edges, and then we're going to sew all the way around them. And we'll take our stitch up to as close as we can to the drill point. We won't be able to get all the way in there because there's a lot of bulk and the foot of the machine won't reach all the way in, but we'll get as close as we can. Again, this is a 1.5 centimetre seam allowance. Always assume that's the case unless I say otherwise. Take the curve nice and slowly if you need to. Nice strong little back stitch at the end. Trim any loose threads that you've got lying around. And then if you have one, jump on the overlocker, otherwise stay on your domestic machine and switch over to a zigzag stitch. This is one of my favourite bits. We're going to overlock all the way round the pocket where we've just sewn and then up to the top of the dungarees. So you want to make sure that everything that you're not sewing is really out of the way so you're not going to catch it. And then on this side I'm going to start right at the top. Again, just making sure the rest of the dungarees are right out of the way so you're not catching them. So I've overlocked all the way from the top of the dungarees around the pocket bag. You'll notice that I left this unfolded on this side, whereas it's folded on that side. I promise I did that on purpose and you'll see why later. The last thing we need to do to finish the pockets is take these 3 layers and just do a stitch across the top. We want this stitch to be hidden in the seam allowance later, so we're going to do it quite close to the edge, about 5 millimeters. Again, you can pin it first if you want to. I'm just going to go for it. Now's a good time to trim any loose threads. And that's it. You've made pockets. I promise that is the hardest bit of the whole process. So from here, it should all be breezy. I'll see you again tomorrow.